All right, so today's product review is on the Dominator Titanium Fin Kit. So the point of this is to put more passive cooling on your Dominator Titanium RAM, like the ones I have right here that I very luckily bought before the Ramageddon. And I paid normal price for these as opposed to the astronomical prices that's going on right now. But it's more important now to make sure you take care of it, because with warranties, companies aren't really honoring warranties, or they're coming up with any excuse they possibly can to not do it anymore or honor their end. So what we have to do now is try to take care of your RAM. And maybe by keeping my RAM a little on the cooler side, we'll be able to, take care of these a little longer. Because it used to be where RAM, you could just, oh man, I accidentally burnt out or it wasn't good, and you could spend $100 and get another 32 gigs and you're good to go. Well, those days are long past. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see what it comes with. All right, put this off to the side. So as you can see, it comes with the fins. I'm gonna take this one out. So it looks like to be some sort of brass maybe, or some other conductive metal, along with a metal frame here that slides right in. On the back of here is like their own Corsair's version of thermal pad. So make sure I gotta peel this off. And then there's the top of it right here. So this will take away your ability to have RGB, and I'm not a big RGB guy anyways, I can care less about it. But I think the theory is for the air when it flows through is to hit in here, grab the heat from the fins up here and then up top, or as it radiates out, and then of course it passively cools your RAM even better than before. And supposedly, and I'm not too sure on this myself, that the RGB itself does add a little temperature to the RAM, but I'm not too sure if it even adds enough to make a difference, and I don't think so, but you never know. So I'm gonna go through the process, and if you wanna watch me undo it and see how easy it is, and let's get this party started, right? So along with the unboxing, because that's all, it came with 2 of these. Put this off to the side. Sorry about my light, guys, as I'm filming this at night and I have not yet got my extra lights in yet. So there's the other one, because it comes with a kit of 2. And inside here, you get a little hex key, and then you get some longer screws. So I'm gonna open that up, if I can. The stupid tape right here. There we go. Yeah, you guys are gonna hang out with me through thick and thin on this. So if I'm having issues, you're gonna see why, and maybe not make the same mistakes myself, right? So, I'll take all this apart. And you know what, I'm not one of those creators that, oh, please watch every second of my video. If you wanna fast forward through this process, by all means, I might try to do it myself. I'm still learning how to video edit too, so it came with 4 of these screws right here, as you can see. And they're really small little hex key. So let's start here. So I'm assuming right here, it's gonna be on top. Supposedly this is really easy. So let's start here. Okay, I did a little half turn. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm a little nervous because I hate messing around with stuff like this, especially with RAM as expensive it is, because this is a 64 gigabyte kit here. And that's well into $1,000-something. I'll be honest with you, I'm doing this through the camera on my phone. And I do repair electronics for a living. And I've been building PCs since I was a teenager in the 90s. And I still make mistakes. And doing it through the lens of the phone is definitely different. I'm gonna move this back a little bit to get a little more light going. There we go. So, I feel like they could have given a better tool for this. Like, I should have grabbed my tool bag and done this myself. I have a precision hex key set that could do this for me. Now ideally you want to do one side a little bit and then move over to the other side, especially when you tighten stuff back down. See, as you see, it's getting a little more loose right here. So, and like I said before, I don't mind sacrificing my RGB ability on this kit. Now, if this doesn't work, I can just add the stuff back on. This is a little bit easier to do like this. All right, the screw is coming out slowly, as you can see here. You see that? All right. And I'm only gonna have you sit through one. I'm gonna do both fin kits, of course, or both rams, sticks, and I was just thinking, I really got to get me a better camera for this rather than just use my phone. I've watched all those YouTube gurus, and they're talking about like, oh, it's not really the equipment. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I did buy a little bit better mic for this, and it did improve the quality of my sound a lot. Even though every once in a while YouTube kind of screws up my videos on that end, and I have to re-upload, and which is fine. It happens. I mean, I don't blame YouTube. They're doing like hundreds of thousands of videos dang near an hour, I want to say. So, but yeah, I definitely have better tools myself for this. You just got to find a small enough hex key. Then I'm trying to be a little on the more careful side because I'm not trying to break anything here. Yeah, I bought this RAM kit for around $240-ish, $50-ish dollars. And then, like crazy, and about 2 months later, it jumped all the way up to those thousands of dollars. All right, so that one's gone off. That side. Let me finish off this side. All right, so as you see here, when you take off the RGB, it's really simple. I mean, it's just a little connection. So that wasn't bad at all. And as you can see here, this provides no cooling whatsoever. This is straight up just a light. If I were to plug this in, this is what it would look like. So imagine the heat comes off the chips on the inside. And then, of course, the casing itself is a little bit of a heat sink, and so is the top. Of course, heat rises. And that theory is to put this in down in here, and it would take some of the heat. So let me get a couple of screws ready here. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and take off this paper. Yeah, that stuff really stuck to me. And if this keeps up, this will be the longest video I've ever recorded for my channel. And by the way, speaking of my channel, please like and subscribe. I have to say that. So I'm going to touch it a little bit. I know it's kind of, no, don't touch it. Oh, yeah, sorry. Kind of have to sometimes. Now you got to line this up a little bit. Let's see if I found the right spot. Yep, found it. All right, there's that spot right there. So I got a little bit going there. I'm gonna add the other side. It's good to do a small brace. When you do some sort of upgrade or repair, there's always one thing that goes wrong with it, or you gotta kind of finagle it a bit. I think this one's mine. This side's not working with me. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be a little easier because I got that one side. It's not that big a deal. You just kind of gotta go side to side until you find the right spot. Let's see. You know what's funny? Let me see something here. Yeah, I grabbed the wrong. Oh no, that's the right one. I thought I grabbed the one off the. What is holding me up here? Oh, got it. All right. So to tighten this down a little bit. All right, so that's what it would look like. I got to tighten these bolts down a little bit more right here. But this is what it would look like. I kind of like this aesthetic and the look. So if this both looks good and functions, this will be a definite worth the $50 that I paid for from the Corsair website. And I'll have the link in the description below. So if you want to buy you a set, if you have the Dominator Titanium, you can. So I'm going to finish this off. I'm going to do my other RAM stick, install it, and I'll let you know if it works or not. So typically I'll run a game and it will, I'll run a certain game that I know that where my RAM stays about a steady temp, and then I'll let you know the difference. All right, guys, I'll be back after I finish this. Here, my RAM on the left stick is 39.75, now 40. That's about 41.25. So these are usually running when I'm running this benchmark at right around 43 to 44 degrees Celsius. And I think I even seen it jump to about 45 on this. So on average, it's about 3 to 4 degrees so far on this. That's a little bit lower. And that's about it on that end. And so now that this is done, I'm going to turn on a game that I usually play that I know the temps at, and I will let you know what's the differences on that and see if it's worth the $50. All right, be right back, guys. All right, so I've been playing some Cyberpunk for about the last 20 minutes or so, and I checked my RAM temperatures again, and I got 39.5 on both sticks. So that's telling me, because when I usually play this game, when I had the regular RGB on, that it was hitting right around 44 degrees. So that's another, I want to say 3 to 5 degrees. It does fluctuate here and there, and it's looking pretty good. So when I come over here, I'm gonna go ahead and take the glass off for you. I'm gonna show you what it looks like in the system. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. So that's what the RAM looks like with the fins on while it's in my case, and I like the way it looks. And I'm not, I'm not anti-RGB, but I don't care too much about it either. I'm good either way, and I like the way this looks, actually. So if I was going for a minimalist build, this will be definitely a kit just for aesthetic reasons. It looks good, but in my opinion, this thing actually functions. And on average, it's 3 to 5 degrees. So now that I have a little more headroom, maybe I can play around with some memory timings and things like that, and maybe I can get a little more, squeeze some more FPS out of it. But also, just so you know, like the best way to actually cool your RAM is just the airflow in your case. So these fins do passively help out, but ultimately the best way is to mess with your fan curves, set it on the right sensors, and set up that kind of stuff. And I'm gonna make a video about fan curves and how to keep your PC cooler with that in the near future. So feel free to like and subscribe if you want to watch that video. But yeah, this thing's definitely worth the $50. So I'll leave a link in the description below, and please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later, and I appreciate you watching. All right, guys, have a good night.